Hello and welcome to UMass Minute Women Hockey on 91.1 WMUA Sports, our YouTube page here at the Mini Mullins Center. I'm John Ruggiero, joined by Darius, Kwak, and this morning we have UMass versus the Liberty Flames. And Darius, these two teams met yesterday and didn't go so well for UMass. The final for that one was 7-0, and the second period especially is where it all kind of fell apart for UMass.
Yeah, they run into a lot of penalty trouble, and their power play wasn't working either. UMass let up, I believe it was 4 goals in very short, quick succession, and they just can't do that if they want to win this game, or really any game at all. But Liberty being first in the league, they're a dominant team. They beat other dominant teams. UMass has a hill to climb today.
They sure do, and especially after yesterday, Coach Bill Wright tried to call a timeout in the second period after 2 quick goals.
Didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't really work. So UMass going to try to break up Liberty's 8-game winning streak here at the Mini Mullins Center. We're underway in this one. Right away, Liberty tries to enter the zone with Vortman, and they get it deep. Goes behind the goal of Mary Honan, who gets the start today. She had to come in for Sarah Matthews last night. There's Ivory Arguin with some speed up the right side. She'll try to send it out front. It goes off the back of the goal to the far side. Hannah Gromko fights for it there, keeping it in the zone for now, but Liberty takes control. Liberty working right to left in their away road Navy Blues, as Vortman will take a shot blocked by Aaron Bennett. UMass working left to right in their home whites. Craig fishes for the puck in the left corner. Fighting with Shelby Little. It comes out front to battle. She spins it middle. No one's there to shoot it.
Yeah, yesterday the big issue was leaving people on the back door open. UMass needs to fix that if they're going to win this game.
There's a scramble in front, and Mary Honan gets knocked into, but she gets the whistle as Battles was battling for the puck in the crease.
Yeah, Honan's going to need to stand tall today like she did yesterday. She came in relief for Matthews, and she didn't let up that many goals. So UMass is hoping for a new berth from her today.
Yes, Mary Honan did do pretty well when she came into the game. Of course, Liberty had upwards of 40 shots during yesterday's game, so obviously that's not really sustainable for any goaltender. Sarah Matthews did what she could, but there's not much she could do. O'Neill sends it out front to Pearson, fighting for it. There they shoot, and it's saved by Brooklyn Adams. She gets the start today after Alex Keith put up a shutout last night.
A little rough stuff in front of the net. We'll see if that passion carries through the rest of the game. UMass is going to need to play with some.
Yes, and that's exactly what Bill Wright is going for, passion. And oftentimes you see him get animated on the far side of the ice on the UMass bench, trying to spark some light into his team. Here's Liberty with the puck. They'll send it ahead to Adamek. It's too far out of her reach. And Joanna Dustin backhands it into the zone. She'll go for a change. Pearson chases for a short while, but she'll head to the bench as well. Wortman turns it over to Riley Evans, the freshman. She banks it off the boards to Joanna Zhu, another freshman on this UMass team. And it seems like every time UMass gets the puck into the zone, it comes right back out, right the other way. And UMass, they have minimal chances, but they have to capitalize on the ones they're given.
That's right. They need to sustain that offensive pressure. And if they're keeping goals, they also keep goals out of the net and fix their D-zone coverage.
Right, and it's just a tough battle to get the puck out of their own zone as well, as Saraver shoots it right on. Glove save by Mary Honan.
UMass is going to need those saves, especially if they get shot on as much as they did yesterday.
Yeah, that was a one-timer, and Mary Honan was true to the test. Here's another draw on the left dot to Mary Honan's right. Won by Liberty. Koo's shot blocked, rebound. Saraver tried to make a move, couldn't get around the UMass defense. Similar start to yesterday's game, but Liberty did get a goal within the first 3 minutes, and they're pressuring now. Koo's shot save. Honan, she smothers it.
Nice positional save.
Yes, and Liberty's just going to throw everything but the kitchen sink at this UMass net. They have 3 shots to 1 for UMass, and it's going to be a battle. That's the story of this one. Is I think if UMass can hang on until the very end to maybe get a late goal, make it a close game, that's going to be their best bet today.
A late push would mean a lot for this team, but they have to survive the first 2 periods.
And they were able to survive the first period yesterday, as we said, but it's the second where it just kind of fell apart.
You have to sustain that pressure.
Here's Peebles. She dekes around Julia Williams, the defenseman. Sends it around the boards to the left. First to it is Lee. Lee with Beauchamp crashing from her point. Left corner. Beauchamp, she scored a goal yesterday. Comes up top to Oakes. She'll send it to the right. Craig, shot, blocked in front. Rebound comes to Gromko. She cannot send it over the line. They fight for it along the far wall.
UMass winning these puck battles is also going to need to be a constant today.
They win one there, and Shelby Little banks it off glass, trying to find Julia Williams. Goes too far ahead of her to the end wall. Williams leaves it behind. He gets caught up from behind, and here comes the Flames once again.
Another very short offensive zone time for UMass. Coach is going to need to fix that if they're going to put any goals in the back of the net.
There's a high lob from Gromko that is easily stopped by Adams, and here's Liberty again. Sophia Adamek drops it off to Vortman. She gets hit down. And Zozia Adamek, the 2 Adamek sisters, on the ice now. They fight forward in the left side of the zone. Fussy makes a move. Shot. Blocked. Dustin tries to get it out. Brianna O'Neill in to help. She'll bank it just over the line to Liberty's possession. Slap shot gloved by Mary Honan from behind the blue line. They keep it going.
A little bit of miscommunication there. You had about 3 of the UMass players all looking for the puck, and they almost give it up to Liberty in their own zone.
I wasn't sure if Honan was going to cover it or not, but here's Abby Dunn. She'll cut into the zone, shoot, save, rebound. Can't get a shot on net was Joanna Zhu.
On the backhand, that's a tough one, but they would like to have that one back.
That's a good chance for a rebound. A juicy one given up by Adams there. And Joanna Zhu, just was tied up from behind. Here come the Flames once again. Isabella Hervert. Shot blocked by the stick of Shelby Little. Goes to the far side. Lily Sparrow fights for it there. It comes to Lila Roach. She'll find Joanna Zhu. She gets knocked down in her own blue line. Server makes a spin move, cuts into the zone, cuts into the slot, shot, save, Honan, rebounds there, fighting for it. It comes to the near side of the zone, right out front again. Zhu skates it away. Here's Lila Roach. They send it down the ice, no icing. Oakes will regroup. 13:30 to go in the first period. If you're just joining us, I'm John Ruggiero, joined by Darius Kwak at the Mini Mellon Center. The score is 0-0, as there you can see now on the screen. And Liberty will continue to pressure UMass. Not for long, as here comes Balerna. He'll fight for it right in front of us. They get it deep. Fourth line out there for UMass. This way and that goes Liberty. And here they come. Lee tries to find Beauchamp, but it comes to the stick of Ellis. Presley Ellis scored 2 goals in yesterday's contest.
Yeah, UMass gonna need to shut her down. Can't let her do her thing, especially if she's sitting on the back of the post.
And now it's Beauchamp. Taken away by Ivory Arguin. She was a standout forward for UMass yesterday. You see her speed immediately up the ice. She's going to win this race to the to the end boards, and she was knocked down by Brooklyn Adams.
Adams sending a bit of a message there.
Yeah, probably inadvertently, but that was some contact, and
she felt it though.
Yeah. Here comes Liberty again. They're stopped at the blue line, delayed offsides. Dunford, she gets knocked down. It comes to Gromko. Gromko finds Julia Williams. She'll send it to the far side in front of the Liberty bench. Funky bounce off the boards, and that allows Fussy to try to shoot it, but Julia Williams takes it over and gets it over the line, but it comes right back in. Dunford lobs it down the ice. That will be icing.
UMass needs to have more controlled breakouts. They really need to work on bringing the puck into the offensive zone and keeping it there. Putting pressure on Adams. I mean, they're only 3 shots in. Liberty has 5. They need to pressure that goalie.
And it's just tough when they are hemmed in their own zone. But here comes this line centered by Arguin once again. Williams skates it up the ice, tries to self-pass off the boards, but she'll swing it deep. Well, actually, I think Arguin had to come back onto the ice because of the icing. But here's O'Neill, fresh off the bench. She can't deke around the Liberty defense. Here comes Lounsbury. Shot wide of the goal. Lounsbury again turns it over to Brianna O'Neill, one of the more dangerous Minutewomen on this team, but it comes back to Glynn for a shot that's once again gloved by Mary Honan.
I think that's a perfect example of how Liberty's able to keep UMass in the defensive zone. You had 3 players blocking that lane that UMass was trying to use to clear the puck, and they're clogging lanes and they're preventing UMass from even getting changes.
And here's Liberty once again with a face-off win. Comes up top to Carl. She tries to send it across the point, but gets a little bit lucky and is able to send it to the right corner. Oakes sends it back to the left corner and all the way around to Battles on the right. Battles, she scored yesterday. Over across to Oakes, slap shot blocked by Pearson. And she's fighting for the puck there, but it comes to Craig. Craig leaves it behind at the UMass blue line, and a board battle ensues in front of the UMass bench. But it's Peebles. Has it on her backhand on the entry. Takes contact from Maganaro. She goes down. It comes to Sparrow. Zoo can't take control. Liberty does. Beauchamp shot blocked in front. Abby Dunn sends it out. No icing. Glynn. Great move up ice by Glynn, and that allows a developing breakaway for Lee, perhaps. Lee, shot, score! Haley Lee goes down the ice on the breakaway, breaks the tie, 1-0 Flames early in the first.
I think that's a great example of how the Flames are able to work UMass here. They start in their own zone. They break past the forwards, a couple quick passes to get through the D, and Lee just puts it in the back of the net. Not much Honan could do there on the breakaway.
Great speed from Lee. And UMass will look to respond, being down 1 in the first period once again. They can't keep it in the zone, but they send it back.
Wonder what the coach is going to say next intermission. Probably a message about offensive zone time.
Yes, and when it is number 1, there's just not much UMass can do. I mean, this Liberty team, they actually have 2. Me and Miles talked about this yesterday. They actually have 2 teams, another team in Division II. And Vortman, she was on that team. She'll cut into the middle. It's saved by Honan. Oakes across. And it's shot way over the net. They fight for it there. Adamek, left corner, Fussy. Oakes across to Carl. Right point, across, Fussy. Couldn't get a good stick on it. It's gloved by Mary Honan.
this is the kind of opportunity that UMass was giving up. Fortunately for the Minute Women, Liberty was not ready for the pass, but it's backdoor passes like that that they let in a lot of yesterday, and they need to lock those down.
Especially the first goal. It was just a wide open net.
Nothing Matthews could do there.
Right.
Or the second goal, too.
But here is UMass with the puck. Sarah Dunford sends it up the far side, but it comes right back to her stick. And again over the line. Now Julia Williams sends it to the left corner. They dig for it along the end boards. 8 minutes to go in the first period. If you're just joining us, Joe Ruggiero, Darius Kwak at the Mini Mullins Center. UMass versus Liberty. They are leading 1-0 after Haley Lee scored on a breakaway. Here comes Liberty once again. They enter the zone on the right. Sent across, no one's home. And it comes up top to Peltier. She'll send it out front. Hervert. Shot save, Honan. And here's the big defenseman, Riley Evans, coming up the near side. She stands 6 feet tall. She'll make the solo rush, get it deep, and go for a change.
You know, John, I think the longest sustained zone time UMass has had thus far has been a couple of plays ago when they had a board battle behind the net. I feel like we're harping on this a lot, but they really need to sustain zone time if they're even going to get any shots on net.
Only 3 so far. They're trying to do that here, but Saraver will be able to skate it out past Brianna O'Neill. She'll skate in, make a move, backhand in front. What a goal!
All alone, my goodness. 5 Minute Women back, and they all get deked through. Puts it past Honan. What a goal.
My goodness. Ellie Sauer went backhand 5-hole past Honan, and that makes it 2-0.
Okay. Some hopeful fans. But that's the kind of hope UMass needs.
Improvement from yesterday. I think that's the message from Bill Wright. But already down 2-0 in the first period after they went down only 1 after 20 yesterday. But
they can't have a second period like they did yesterday. That fire drill, 4 goals in only a few minutes. But they're in less penalty troubles thus far today. Something that they struggled with yesterday. They couldn't keep pucks out of their net on the penalty kill, and they couldn't score on the power play. But luckily that hasn't happened for the Minutewomen yet.
Comes out front to Glenn, and she scores! Madison Glenn finds the puck on her stick right in the mid slot. And now Liberty has scored 3.
Puck comes right out to the slot. Glenn comes down Broadway, puts it home underneath the left pad.
And Liberty is already running away with this one. 6:19 to go in the first. 3-0 Flames. Number 1 in the country, showing why they have that ranking.
You know, John, you mentioned earlier that they have 2 teams, Division I and Division II. Being that they have 2 teams and they have enough of a pool to pick from, they get the best of the best here today.
Beauchamp shot wide. And that's on the opposite end for UMass. Of course, well, everyone knows they don't have 2 teams, but they're kind of at the end of their bench. Almost every player, if not every player, has to be playing at all times to have a full roster. So it gets tiring throughout the season.
I think you're seeing that right now.
Lee, who scored the first Liberty goal, goes across the ice to the far side. Carl, slap shot. Tips wide. Oakes, left point. Tries to find Carl, but goes too far ahead of her and cleared by UMass.
UMass can get a change. Those defenders They were getting really tired out there, unable to leave the defensive zone.
Here's Oaks again for a shot. Pops up high after a Mary Honan save. Fussy, left corner. The captain. Up top, Glenn scored the most recent Liberty goal. Fussy again. Left slot. Shot tipped wide. Arguin holds control. She'll flip it ahead, trying to get it over the line. It's out by Gromko, but Liberty comes right back in. That was almost offsides, but the ref says no, and it comes for a chance by Adamek, gloved by Honan. Zozia Adamek on that shot.
Yeah, Liberty posted Fussy in front of the net, and UMass is having a hard time moving her. Honan can't see. They're going to have to address that coming up, going into the second period.
Here's the other Adamek sister. She'll send it across for a shot, save Honan, and she'll cover the rebound. Liberty just all over the net of Honan.
Not much Honan can do. She's just facing so much pressure.
Brianna O'Neill, after a face-off win, banks it off the boards. Dustin can't take control. UMass sends it off the post. Liberty does, rather. UMass tried to send it out, weren't able to. Hit post for Liberty there. Koo, left point. To the right for Adamek. And Koo again. Shot towards the net. Blocked. Kennedy Pearson goes to her knees.
No call.
Yeah, and UMass, they had 2 power plays of their own in the second period of yesterday, and they just weren't able to get any shots on goal, I believe, and no pressure at all. But here comes Shelby Little. She'll take a shot over the bar.
She needs to hit the net.
Yeah, and that's what Bill Wright wants to see. On the minimal chances UMass will have, they need to find the net. Only 3 shots so far to Liberty's 16. But as I was saying, the 2 power plays that didn't go UMass's way just kind of killed their spirits. And after that, Liberty just poured on the goals.
Which they're already doing at the start in this first period.
Yeah, and here they come again. It's Battles. Makes a move. Cuts into the middle. Shot blocked. Now it's Craig. Right side of the zone. Craig tries to find Saraver, but it goes through her skates. Little can't send it over the line. Well, she did, but Oaks sends it right back in. Delayed offsides. Liberty comes back, pressuring Aaron Bennett. Goes to the far side. Carl, right corner. Now up top, Beauchamp. Right point. Shot. Score! A tip in front or something like that. Either way, it's a 4-0 game.
Not sure Honan saw that one coming. Liberty's been utilizing a high to low offensive style, something that you see a lot in the NHL on the Western Conference. UMass is going to need to pressure the defensemen up on the blue line, but so far they've stayed low in their zone and allowed pucks to come in from up top.
And scoring the goal was Ellie Saraver. 2 goals in this first period to make it 4-0, and now UMass will go on the penalty kill. A trip.
Goes down hard into the boards. That's Sammy Pebbles drawing the penalty.
And taking the penalty was Alden Karlstein for UMass. She'll head to the box for 2 minutes, 2:15 to go in the first. Four to 0 Liberty with a chance to extend their lead on this Saturday morning. Here's Glenn up top. Left side, Adamek. Shot, save, rebound out front. Skated away by Gromko. But Liberty has it back once again across to Adamek, left dot. She'll have it on her backhand. Spins, up top Glenn. Back to Adamek. Left point, across Glenn. Shot blocked by Gromko. Battles. Right side. Sends it across Adamek. Lynn keeps it in. Adamek again towards the net. Shot. Save Honan. after a bounce, and Gromko is able to clear it down. 1:14 remaining on the power play, 1:26 to go in the first period.
Both teams have gone for a change. We got some fresher legs on the ice.
As the second power play unit for Liberty comes on, and here comes Adamek up the ice once again.
With speed.
Yes, Zozia Adamek, the assistant captain, finds Peebles up top. Back to Zozia Adamek, and again Peebles. Right side of the zone now, Presley Ellis. Peebles again, across to Adamek. Shot, blocked by Oakes in front. Adamek cuts middle, sends it across. Brianna O'Neill with the defensive play to clear it down.
Both teams going for another change here.
30 seconds to go on the power play, 42 seconds remaining in the period. UMass, their penalty kill holding tough so far, but still 20 more seconds to kill. Sarah, around the net she goes. Glynn, shot, tipped in front, sits there, but it's skated away by Roach to the right corner. 5 seconds until Karlstein's out of the box. Liberty one more chance to shoot on the power play perhaps, but Karlstein is free. We play 5-on-5. 10 seconds to go in the period. Shot, score.
My goodness.
7.2 to go, and Liberty scores one more goal. It's the captain. It's Brielle Fussy. She scores once again, 5-0.
They're utilizing that high to low offensive style also on the power play with a 1-3-1, having the defenseman shoot from up top, and they're pretty confident that Honan can't see with some bodies in front.
21 shots to 3 in favor of Liberty, and of course they lead 5-0. As the buzzer sounds, that's the end of the first period at the Mini Mullins Center, and UMass was looking for any sort of improvement after yesterday's game, and after being only down 1-0 at the end of the first yesterday, now they're down 5-0, so going the opposite direction.
Yeah, this is their worst period so far. Unless you can count the second period in yesterday's game where they gave up 4 goals in a short time, they just spread up 5 goals over more time. But a couple of things of note: Liberty is putting bodies in front, making it hard for Honan to see. UMass is struggling to sustain offensive zone time, and Liberty's defensemen are putting on a show for us tonight, honestly. Putting, really challenging the Minutewomen to break out and to stay in the offensive zone.
It has certainly been a challenge for UMass, and it will continue to be in the next 40 minutes, but we'll send it to a break here on YouTube, and we'll be back in 14 minutes for the second period on 91.1 WMUA, the home fort for all your favorite Minutemen and Minutewomen sports. Welcome back for the second period of play, and right away we're lining up for the draw. There we go. Back again. Liberty leading 5-0 after a 5-goal first period. They'll work left to right this period. UMass working right to left, and Vortman sends it in right away. And it's a tough first period for UMass, and we'll see if they can have any sort of response to provide any sort of moral victories going into next weekend. But there's a shot from Adamek that finds the back of the goal. It goes through the glove of Mary Honan, and just like that, it's 6-0.
I think that play is representative of how this game is going. I mean, you know, the score isn't entirely indicative of UMass's skill. They're playing the best in the country, and the best in the country is showing why they are just that.
It's Zozia Adamek.
And Honan's going to get the pull. Matthews is going in.
Yep.
Inverse of what we saw yesterday.
Sarah Matthews, the assistant captain, will come into the crease, and Liberty has scored a touchdown. They send it into the zone. Fussy behind the goal of now Sarah Matthews. Goes to the far side. And a shot off the side of the goal. Matthews might have got a piece. 23 shots for Liberty. UMass still stuck at 3. Oakes, shot from the point, save Matthews. Rebound, blocked in front. Oakes sends it back up top. Olsen, she scored a goal yesterday, her first of her career. She'll look for another. Her shot is saved by Matthews. And cleared by UMass.
Currently the shots stand at 3 for the Minutewomen and 25 for the Flames. Almost more than triple, no, sorry, more than 8 times the amount of shots for Liberty than for UMass.
Down goes Zoo, but she gets it deep.
Good defensive change for UMass.
Olsen up the near side. Fights for the puck with Lila Roach. It comes to Lily Sparrow. Sparrow to Dunn. And out for Zoo, trying to turn on the Jets for potential break, but Sophia Adamek comes back nicely. Craig cuts back. At the point, leaves it there. And here's Liberty with a chance to shoot, and yet another goal. Peltier, 7-0. Extra point is good.
Just more of the same what we're seeing today. Just continued pressure in the offensive zone for Liberty. They're not letting UMass go. We're going to put them away today, looks like.
Liberty football and UMass football kicked off about 8 minutes ago, 12 o'clock over at McGurk. Tune into 91.1. You'll hear John Gigian and Matt Ford-Wellman on the call. Herbert knocks a stick out of the hands of Maya Shapiro. And Liberty holds possession again. Koo down low. Behind the goal. It comes out front for a pass across, and yet another goal.
Comes after a bit of a defensive breakdown behind the net. You have 2 Minutewomen stuck behind the net trying to get the puck. And then puck pops out in front of Matthews, and there's just 3 Flames right there to put it away.
I'm not sure who will get credit for the goal. It might have been Beauchamp, but either way, it's 8-0, and we play on. UMass sends it deep. It's Vortman in the Liberty zone, coming up to the neutral zone and backhands it to the left corner. First to it, Riley Evans. Evans across to Bennett. 28-3 the shots in favor of the Flames. Gromko Back to Evans, trying to find Julia Williams up ice. Too far ahead of her. That's icing.
Back to the defensive zone we go. UMass so far has been trying to exit the zone with some dump and chase plays, but their forwards haven't been able to beat the Liberty defensemen in the foot race.
Another offensive zone draw for Liberty. They send it across right away, and it comes up top to Oaks. Shot saved by Matthews.
Sharp save there from the slot.
And Gromko gets it over the line. Sheriver, who has 2 goals in this game, she'll look for number 3, but a nice play by Julia Williams to get it from behind.
Little board battle. Won again by Liberty, putting their puck back up to the point.
Shot saved by Matthews. Gromko trying to get it over the line. And it goes all the way down for yet another icing.
Quite quiet here in the Mini Mullen Center.
Yes.
Currently the shots stand at 3 for the Minutewomen and 30 for the Flames. Minutewomen have a 10th of the shots, and I don't believe they've registered a shot this period. Those 3 shots also came earlier in the first.
After some conversation, they'll drop the puck at center ice. Perhaps that was not supposed to be icing. That's my guess. And UMass will be allowed to change.
They need a berth here. Need a quick break into the offensive zone, put some pressure on the goalie, catch her sleeping.
Any sort of moral victories they'll take at this point. That puck goes on to Adams. Glynn recovers, turns it over. Out front, shot save Adams. It was Joanna Dustin who had a chance to shoot after a turnover. Now Pearson sends it back down low. And it comes to Glynn. Now Olsen with some speed through the neutral zone. She'll enter on the right. Olsen can't send it across. Brianna O'Neill over the line. Whoa, almost some dangerous play there for Liberty, getting a little bit uncomfortable in their own zone. But
don't
no
think
harm.
Adams was ready for that either.
Yeah, no harm, no foul that time, I guess, as Olsen shoots, and it's a save by Matthews. UMass looking up ice for a quick transition. It gets caught in the skates of Sparrow, and she'll send it down, no icing.
This dump and chase style of play that UMass is trying to utilize is only, I believe, is only working to tire out their players.
Here's Battles. A diving Dunford takes down Battles, and that's a trip.
Going hard into the boards there.
Yeah, that was some scary contact, and Dunford thought she was going to send it across. She never did. She tried to skate behind the goal, and Battles goes down. Dunford goes to the box, and Liberty will have their second power play of the day. They were unsuccessful on their first. Play 5-on-4 for the next 2 minutes. 14-18 to go in the second period. If you're just joining us, I'm John Ruggiero, joined by Darius Kwak at the Mini Mullen Center. Liberty is pouring on the pressure. They'll look for number 9 on this power play.
Power play was something that the Liberty Flames were able to use effectively to score last game.
Peebles shot, score.
Once again, a shot comes from the point. Matthews can't see it and ends up in the back of the net.
I believe Peebles will get credit for that. And everything going the way of Liberty. Now 9-0.
You know, defensemen really putting on a showcase here as to why it's important to have offensive power from your back end. Still on the penalty kill. Here is UMass. Excuse me. Sorry, someone was a little late coming out to the ice.
Yes, that was a power play goal. We play 5-on-5. 14 minutes to go. Here's Carl. She'll send it around behind Matthews. Matthews leaves it for Maganero. On the near side, Maya Shapiro. In that right corner, Adamek trying to cut to the middle, but here's Shapiro with some speed up ice. Tries to find Balerna, but she'll send it in. Balerna first to it, tries to send it out front. Karlstein fighting for the puck with Koo. It's sent out front. Gromko too far ahead of her. Evans, shot towards the net, save Adams. The rebound comes up top. Gromko can't grab it. UMass coming back, doesn't allow Lee to go ahead. They'll change. And here's Julia Williams. She can't find Gromko, and Fussy sends it deeper into the zone. Saraver looking for three. She has got it. Hat trick goal. 10 goals for the Flames.
Just running up the score now. UMass was looking for a better performance than yesterday, but today's just not their day.
A 10 spot for the Flames.
the Liberty Flames are really making a case for why they are number one and they should stay that way.
UMass was number 18 coming into this series after they tied 2 times with a top 10 team in Michigan. But Liberty is just clearly on a completely different level than any other team in this league. Lounsbury, left corner. 12:35 to go in the second. Not even halfway through the game. Liberty has scored 10 goals.
UMass is already starting to play with a little bit of a slump, maybe feeling dejected, I'm assuming. This beatdown from Liberty.
Here's Craig. Enters on the right. Shot. Save Matthews. Kicks it aside to the near boards. Shelby Little. Back deep. And now up top, no one's there. Joanna Dustin will race for the puck. Adams way out of her goal to the left corner. She'll backhand it out herself. Great play by Brooklyn Adams. And that allows Carl to go ahead with it. UMass will take control. Joanna Zhu, the freshman. She'll leave it behind. It comes to Battles. Midi 2-on-1 developing. Battles, backhand, shot, save. Matthews, the rebound goes just wide of the right post. Beauchamp shot, save Matthews, and a cover.
Currently sitting at 36 shots for Liberty, 5 for UMass. Liberty's already put on a whole game's worth of shots. And we're not even halfway through the game with 11:22 left in the second.
Liberty wins the draw in the UMass zone. It comes up top to the right point for Glynn. Glynn tries to send it back down low, but it finds Sparrow, who can't send it ahead to Abby Dunn. And Adamek will come ahead now. Defense by Aaron Bennett, but it goes to Vortman. Now Adamek. Up top, Glynn. Shot. Save Matthews. 37 shots now for Liberty. They had 82 shots against Rhode Island.
My goodness.
That game last weekend, they won that game only 6-2. Apparently Rhode Island only had 6 shots, but they scored 2 goals.
Well, good for them, honestly.
Another shot saved by Matthews.
So how many shots did Rhode Island have there?
6.
6 to 86.
82.
82. Wow.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I mean, that is unfathomable, but so is 38-5, which is what we have right now. A shot wide of the right post.
39-5.
Yeah. Adams plays it from her goal to Adamek. You can just see the little moves that Liberty has that UMass doesn't. Just spin moves this way and that through the legs like that from Ellis. Look at her shoot it there as she goes down. It's just so skillful. Peebles, slap shot, save. Matthews, rebound, sent wide by Ellis. Ellis looking for her third goal of the weekend. Fussy, shot, another save from Matthews, plus or above 40 shots now for Liberty. UMass sends it down the ice. Adams plays it.
UMass going for a much-needed change here.
Ellis got a stick on that one.
Liberty goes for a change.
Maganaro looking up ice. Charlotte gets it to Julia Williams. Williams sends it down. No icing. Arguin fights for it along the end boards, and it comes to Julia Williams. She can't get through Liberty. A nice move by Peltier right there. She'll cut in, or that was Craig rather. Gromko made the defensive play. Ivory Arguin cuts into the zone. Shot wide of the goal. Dunford shoots it off her fellow Minutewomen, and now Craig will skate ahead. Craig cuts in, just barely loses it on the backhand. It goes behind the goal. Now she'll cut up top to the point. Turned over to Arguin. Ivory Arguin sends it to the right corner.
Another dump and chase play, something Liberty has successfully fought off today.
Nice forecheck from UMass here. Kennedy Pearson lifting a couple sticks. It comes to Riley Evans up top. Shot saved by Adams. Now 7 shots for UMass. Getting a little bit of pressure here. Adams another shot. Glove down in front. 2 players down. That's Dustin and Carl. But it goes to the far side for Lounsbury to easily clear. Offsides on UMass.
UMass has been able to get a couple more shots since the last time we looked at the shot clock. They're currently at 7.
41-7. Here's Abby Dunn. Goes behind the goal of Adams, and Koo will skate ahead. Stick handles into the zone. She goes down, no call coming. Hervert turns it over to Riley Evans. Now Abby Dunn. Shoots it on to Adams, and it goes across to Evans, who almost had an open goal to shoot it in. Here's Beauchamp. Sends it up top. Oakes to Beauchamp. Shot blocked by Sparrow. Once again, Oakes will shoot, and it's gloved by Matthews for whistle.
So what are we thinking, John? What are you thinking right now? What's going through your head?
I'm not sure, Darius. I mean, it's been a tough one for UMass, and we play on because there's still a lot of this game left. I'm wondering how many Liberty might end up scoring.
I think UMass will count it as a moral victory if they can keep the shots low and the goals low for the rest of the game.
I mean, they had some good rushes just the last couple shifts, so perhaps a response is coming, no matter how big. There's Balerna, who clears it from her knees. Goes back to Peltier, but from behind, Maya Shapiro tried to keep it in the zone. It goes over the line to Adamek. And here comes Liberty once again. Lee leaves it behind. Nice defensive play by Maganaro. Julia Williams turns on the Jets. Cuts behind the net. Waits for some help. Trying to find Arguin, but Liberty doesn't allow a chance there. One-on-one. Fussy with Roach. Fussy makes a move. Shot. Saved by Matthews. And yet another whistle.
Shots stand at 43 for Liberty and 8 for UMass with 5:40 left to go in the second period.
Liberty comes away with another puck. Attempted shot blocked. Glenn, right point. Left point, Carl. Slap shot. Goes off the toe of her stick. Way wide. Fussy. Trying to deke around the Minute Women, but unsuccessfully. Now it's cleared. Almost turned over to Arguin, but it's wisely covered by Adams. Arguin got a skate on that attempted clear by Glenn, and UMass earns an offensive zone draw. Face off on the left dot. Won by UMass. Shelby Little. Shot. Save. Rebound. Almost tucked home by Joanna Dustin. That's got to be the best chance UMass has had all day.
I could use a few more of those.
Here's Liberty again. Craig. Pressured from behind by Little, but Craig's able to enter on the backhand. Brianna O'Neill sends it up the near side, but Adamek pinches down low. Board battle there, but it's Brianna O'Neill. Off glass and out. Craig shimmies her way across the red line.
Liberty's defensemen today have played the role of facilitators and quarterbacks during plays.
Here's a chance to shoot over the bar right in front by Craig. I mean, just getting that sort of height in close like that just goes to show how much skill this team has.
Little dipsy doodle in the corner there too.
Lounsbury tries to send it across after that move, but UMass is able to send it out. Abby Dunn's going to win the race down the ice. Beauchamp cuts in front of her and grabs it. Dunn is out of gas, but she'll skate back. Here's Beauchamp. Gets it back to the right side of the zone. Beauchamp up top, shot. Deflected wide. Glynn behind the goal, battles. She goes down.
Same spot as last time too.
And like the ref wanted to make a call, but elected not to. And here's Abby Dunn. Sends it across to Zoo. She's made contact with by Glynn. No call there. And here's Carl for battles. And now Adamek. Nice defensive pressure by Zoo from behind. She'll head to the bench, but here comes Liberty again. Glynn across to Adamek. Shot towards the net blocked. Riley Evans looking for the go-ahead pass. She has Shapiro. Shapiro. Shot. Saved by Adams. And Karlstein was crashing towards the goal.
Sorry for those at home. The camera was not pointed at the net. I am playing a dual role today.
It's okay. A little short-handed today. Got a lot of broadcasts. We have football happening right now and men's basketball later tonight.
Women's basketball team won their game yesterday against Monmouth. Very dominant fourth quarter beatdown.
Riley Evans shot gobbled up by Adams, but they're not blowing the whistle for some reason. But now they do.
I think Adams had that.
Yeah. Unless it was like on the ice behind her, between her legs or something, and the ref saw it with his angle, but they eventually get the whistle.
Good enough for a UMass offensive zone face-off. See if they can maybe put some pressure on from the point, the way Liberty has today.
The Flames will win the face-off. And they're hemmed in their own zone now, deep Bromko fighting for it, but Fussy's able to get around her. 3-on-2 up the ice. Arguin using her speed to get back, making it a bit of a 3-on-3, but Fussy sends it right out front. What a save by Matthews. Ellis robbed of her 3rd goal of the weekend.
Good on Matthews for staying sharp there, plugging the 5-hole.
Server looking for 4, and she just sends it wide. The rebound can't be hit onto Matthews. It's in the slot. Fussy shot over the left post wide. Arguin, self pass off the boards. Ivory Arguin to the right corner. Once again, an Arguin solo rush, trying to get help from behind. It's a Pearson shot that's easily saved by Adams.
Shot clock is currently, sorry, not the shot clock, this isn't basketball. The shot count is currently 45 for Liberty, 13 for UMass. UMass starting to put on comparatively a little more pressure than they have earlier in the game, coming from these offensive draws, which they just won.
Win for UMass. Dustin to O'Neill, left corner. Roach to O'Neill. Tries to get through the Liberty forwards, not able to. Olsen turns it over to O'Neill. And Lounsbury has it on her backhand, sends it wide. Carl keeps it in. O'Neill sends it just over the line to Pearson. Pearson to Dunford. Dunford sends it the length of the ice. Under a minute to go, 45 seconds remaining in the second period. And the puck pops into the penalty bench. .45 shots for Liberty. And yesterday, I believe they ended with 47. So with still a full period to go, they have a chance to get well over 50.
These back-to-back games are tough in any sport. You know, they played a game last night, they got to go to bed, wake up earlier for this game, which is much earlier in the day.
Yeah, usually the back-to-backs are both night games, but I mean, these two teams played,
it's the worst possible configuration. They start with a late game, then have an earlier game right after.
Yeah, these two teams just played just over 12 hours ago. But Liberty is certainly up bright and early, ready to play. That puck goes around in front, off a stick. Peltier to Battles, but Peltier grabs it, sends it deep.
Nice little poke check at the point from Dunn.
And that's the end of the second period. So 10 goals for Liberty. And we'll head to the second intermission. And just not much to say about this one.
Some positives for UMass. They've put up a lot more shots than they did in the first period. They put up 10 this period to bring the shot count to 45 for Liberty, 13 to UMass. You're seeing a lot of defenseman activation for Liberty. You know, high to low. They'll send it up to the point to a defenseman. Defenseman will either pass or shoot. And it's working, clearly.
And then some.
And then some. That's right.
10-0 in favor of the Liberty Flames after 40 minutes. If you're bored during the second intermission, go on to our Twitter page and you'll find a link to the radio broadcast. Or if you're in the Amherst area, just tune into 91.1. You'll find UMass football, our broadcast of that. But for now, we're going to send it to break for the next 13 or so minutes. And after that, we'll be back for the third period on 91.1 WMUA, the home for all your favorite Minutemen and Minute Women sports. Hello and welcome back for the second period of play. I'm John Ruggiero, joined by, or the third period of play, I should say. I'm joined by Darius Kwak, and as you can see, the score is 10-0 in favor of Liberty. 20 minutes to play, and face-off will be at center ice.
Liberty's laying it on thick. A lot of offensive defenseman pressure.
And we're underway for the final 20 minutes. Liberty wins the draw, and Fussy holds it on the blue line and comes back to their own zone for battles. Now Adamek behind her goal. Olsen tries to chip it off the boards to herself, but doesn't get past the UMass forwards. And eventually it's Oakes entering the zone. Oakes around the net she goes. Up top Peltier. Left side Sarver. Shot saved by Matthews. Sauer has 3 goals, a hat trick.
Everyone's rolling today for them. For Liberty, that is.
17 goals in 2 games, and there's still 18 minutes to play in this one.
46 shots so far for Liberty to UMass's 13.
They'll look to add a couple more on this rush as Carl gets a stick on it into the zone, but that goes for icing. And Liberty tried to make a change, but
not so fast.
Yeah.
Ref tells him get back on the ice. You're in the defensive zone again. Well, not so much again, but UMass is looking to put some pressure on, maybe catch Adams sleeping. Maybe not expecting a shot from the point.
She saved all 13 UMass shots. Beauchamp after a face-off win. Tries to find Carl, but Evans takes it over. It's offsides.
When you look at the score of the game, very indicative of the skill and talent this Liberty team has. They play fast, they play smart. A lot of low to high offense coming from forwards to defensemen.
Not only is there, designed plays and everything like that, one of the best in the league, they're just skillful, flat out skillful. And a lot better than any other team in the league, as Sparrow's shot is blocked wide. And that just goes to show the development that this program has from their D2 team to their D1 team. Abby Dunn cuts off Liberty at the blue line and tries to send it deep, but it goes to stick of Beauchamp.
A little miscommunication here. UMass should pick up an icing call.
Face-off come back to the Liberty zone. Last time I checked, UMass football was winning 7-0. Well, make it 10-0.
How about that?
UMass football leading 10-0, but Liberty Women's Club Hockey leading 10-0. So that's a fun little stat for you.
We should get those two teams to play each other.
Yeah.
Completely different sport like soccer or something.
I'd love to see some of the UMass football players on ice skates. That would be something. Here's Balerna. She'll fire it to the right corner. Adamek takes some body contact, but fights through it and clears. Sydney Eitel sends it back deep. The Adamek sisters rolling up the ice. There's a move and a shot. Save Matthews. The rebound goes off the side of the goal. Vortman fans on the attempted pass, but she'll hold possession as she skates to the neutral zone. Fires it back in and goes to the bench. Eitel off near boards. Williams fighting for the puck. Battles turns it over to Julia Williams, and Gromko races forward up the ice. She spins it middle, out front. Arguin can't get a stick on it to shoot it. Now up top, Shelby Little, backhander save by Adams, and a whistle.
Apologies for missing that on the camera, but UMass was able to get a 2-on-1 rush, get a puck out in front of Adams, and just couldn't quite hit it home on the backhand. But a good opportunity that they're hopefully looking to create more of.
Sauer after a Liberty face-off win. And UMass tries to regain possession. Dustin in the left corner digging for it there. To no avail. But Little will keep it in. Send it back to that right corner. Sauer makes a move. Gets it to Carl. Up the ice, the Flames go. They will do a partial change. Lee first to it in the left corner. Kennedy Pearson digs for it there. But it's O'Neill. Off of Zoo and out. No icing. 47 shots for Liberty. That's what they ended yesterday's game with. There's still 15 minutes to play in the third period. Beauchamp finds Ellis. Ellis with some speed. She'll cut in on the forehand shot, saved by Matthews. Herbert up top to Peebles. Back to Herbert. Off the skate of Peebles. Beauchamp will race for it in the left side of the zone. Ellis. Peyton Ellis cuts to the middle and shoots, saved by Matthews. Matthews looking solid to start this period. Abby Dunn to Joanna Zhu. She has Lily Sparrow on her right. Zhu circles back. Sends it up the far boards. But Liberty takes control. It's Craig. Nice move around the UMass forecheck. Fortman shot. Save Matthews. Rebound Craig to the right corner. Hard stop. A board battle along the far wall. 14-13 to go in the third period. Puck comes to the near corner. Riley Evans. Off of Blerna. And Koo will go ahead. Vortman shot blocked by Maganaro. And here comes Maya Shapiro. She's headed off the puck, and it's Adamek to Vortman. Vortman can't fight through traffic. Shapiro almost turned it over, but it was delayed offsides. Arguin takes control. She'll enter in the zone. Arguin with some speed shot, saved by Adams. And a whistle. Liberty with 50 shots.
To 16 for UMass. A couple of those have been Arguin. She's had a couple opportunities here. Put some pressure on Adams, the Liberty goalkeeper. Just has not been able to convert.
Arguin only a freshman. I think she's going to develop into a great forward and leader for this UMass team a couple years from now.
Certainly what UMass is hoping for.
Williams back to Maganaro. And back to Williams in that far corner. Trying to get around the Captain Fussy. She can't do it. Now it's up top for a shot that goes wide of Sarah Matthews. Gromko banks it off the boards. And there's going to be a penalty on Liberty. A trip on Battles. That's her second penalty of the weekend.
UMass was not able to convert yesterday on its power plays. It's hoping to do so today. This is probably their best opportunity thus far in the game. They have an offensive zone face-off, excuse me, and they have the man advantage.
Third time this weekend. The first two didn't go so well yesterday. We'll see if this power play has anything to show for. Here's O'Neill. Up top, Shelby Little. Across to Lila Roach. Down low, Brianna O'Neill sends it out front for a shot that's saved by Adams and a whistle.
This is what UMass is looking to do. Some crisp passing. Bring it down low. Get up in Adams' face. Get one by her. That's all I can ask for right now.
Face-off on the right dot, won by Liberty. Adamek will staple it to the right corner, but it comes up top. Lila Roach. Roach off the skate of O'Neill. And it's turned over to Dustin. Dustin, Lila Roach, all the way across the zone. Brianna O'Neill, the captain. Up top, Shelby Little. Now O'Neill. Fanned on the slap shot, and it's cleared down.
Shot totals currently 50 for Liberty. Nice little rhyme. 17 for UMass.
Here's Joanna Zhu. A minute to go on the power play. 11:48 to go in the game. Lily Sparrow for Joanna Zhu. Zhu across to Little. Shot. Save Adams. And cleared again.
Liberty able to change their penalty kill unit.
Zhu gets a tip into the zone. First to it will be the hat trick goal scorer, Sauer. She'll send it the length of the ice. 27 seconds remaining on the power play. This is definitely the best power play we've seen out of UMass this weekend out of the 3 that they've had now.
Absolutely. I think a lot of that's coming down to their passing in the offensive zone.
That's offsides. Sparrow not too happy as she was hit into the zone. Face-off will come right in front of us in the neutral zone.
Nine seconds left on the penalty. 10:57 left in the period. So far, scoreless in the third.
Seconds will tick down and Battles will be out of the box shortly. But here's Arguin trying to break into the zone. Can't do it. That's the end of the power play. Puck goes off the stick of Julia Williams, and now Glynn sends it across for a shot that goes over the bar. Peltier brings it right back in. Makes a move. Left dot shot high. Adamek down to the right corner. And turned over to Arguin. Ivory Arguin with some speed. She'll chip it to the right corner. Has Julia Williams on her back. Tries to find her out front. An awkward tip onto Adams is saved. Liberty pressured by Maya Shapiro. Doing it all herself is Shapiro, and she'll wait for some help. Balerna tries to offer some, but it's Adamek going this way and that and kicking it to her sister. Lots of skill on this side of the ice.
Crisp passing, too, for Liberty.
And that's just something that UMass sort of lacks. They're able to, have almost some go-ahead chances up the ice, but they try to send it across to one another and it just kind of goes off their stick or too far ahead or something like that. And the passing is just doesn't connect more times than it does. But there's Craig for a shot that goes wide of the right post. Oakes up top, Koo. Turns it over to Balerna. Balerna with some speed up the ice. Has Dustin on her left. Shot. Save Adams. Rebound. Comes back to Manganero. Another shot. And another save for Adams.
That might just be the best opportunity UMass has had all day. Couple quick shots in Adams. But Adams stays sharp.
Face-off will be to her left. UMass nearing 20 shots. They have more than they did yesterday. Pearson fights forward in that right corner. Lounsbury sends it to the far corner. Carl to Peltier, but turned over to Dustin, just too far out of her reach. Nice stick lift by Kennedy Pearson. And the puck is stuck in that pile in the slot, but it's now Carl who sends it ahead to Lee. Lee looking for her second breakaway goal tonight. Backhand shot, saved by Sarah Matthews. And a whistle.
UMass fans, finally something to cheer for. Nice save by Matthews, beating the Liberty player across crease. Very solid save, something that UMass needs.
Matthews just stuck with Lee the whole way through, tried to go to Matthews' right.
Very solid save.
Stayed square to the puck the whole time. Liberty sends it deep. Bennett can't clear. Craig. And it's eventually cleared by Dustin. Koo sends it to Craig. Eitel sends it back towards the red line, but Beauchamp makes a nice move on the entry. Beauchamp has it on her backhand. Skates towards the net. Hard stop on the right side of the zone. Hervert, shot, tip, saved by Matthews. Vortman. And Adamek goes to the far side with 7:23 to go in the third. Hervert shot, save Matthews. 53 shots now for Liberty, make it 54, and another save for Sarah.
All of Liberty's 10 goals have come in the first two periods. We're currently scoreless in the third. If I'm the UMass head coach, I'm telling them, forget about the first two periods. This third period is a new game for us. We're going to win this. So that way these two losses, the first loss, which in the second game which they're currently losing, doesn't affect them going forward in the season.
That's a good point. I think if they can somehow win this period, that will be a little bit of momentum going forward. There's a shot by Glenn. I almost thought she was going to try the Michigan move there. That would have been something.
That would have been special.
But there's Peltier who deflects it deep. Glenn again tries to send it out front. Arguin keeps it behind the goal. Adamek to Glenn. It's in her skates to Gromko. Gromko self-pass off the boards. Keeps it going up that far side. Hannah Gromko, the solo rush. Has it out front to Arguin, and a nice stick in front there by the Liberty defense. Breaking up that chance. It was Oakes. Dunford comes off her line to make a defensive play, and now Gromko skates through Battles. Not for long, though. Battles almost had a chance to shoot, but she left it behind. Arguin sends it in.
Evans with a good reach there to break up the play from Battles. UMass needs more of that.
And here's Battles on the UMass logo. She'll cut in, fakes the slapper, sends it across, just through the crease wide. She'll get it back behind the goal. Battles up top to Fussy. Makes a nice move. Down goes Shapiro. Fussy sent it wide. Balerna to Shapiro. Fussy regroups. She'll try to find Olsen. Good stick from Balerna. And now Maganero with the clear in.
This period's been a lot more back and forth and a lot more even thus far. Shots stand at 55 for UMass, 19 for Liberty.
Aaron Bennett clears. 4:50 remaining in this third and final period. I'm John Ruggiero, joined by Darius Kwak at the Minnie Mullins Center. And UMass has a chance to at least win one out of the 6 periods we're going to see this weekend. And they've definitely, I think this has been their best period of the whole weekend.
Absolutely. They're coming out and playing with some passion, which we mentioned earlier in the game. Something that their coach definitely wants them to play with.
Here's Lee with 4:20 to go. Lee to the left, just out of the reach of Beauchamp. Maganaro sends it up the near side to Abby Dunn. Dunn is poked off the puck by Vortman. And it's sent across to Ellis. Ellis to the far side. Right corner. Finds Beauchamp. Shot, save by Matthews. Shot number 56.
3:56 left in the game. Still scoreless in the third period, as only counting goals scored in the third period, that is. There's still 10 goals for Liberty scored in the first two.
And between Honan and Matthews, they've saved 46 shots. You would think that's pretty good.
It is.
It is. But well, there's another goal to make it 11-0. And Vortman will get credit for that one, the former D2 player. And yes, Mary Honan and Sarah Matthews, they've had a tough task this weekend. And
something Herculean going against a team as good as Liberty. They're just solid, they're skillful, they're disciplined. And it shows. It really shows, John.
11-0. And there's 3:20 to go in the game. Lila Roach behind the goal of Matthews. Adamek to the left corner. Turned over by Liberty. Gromko looks across the ice, but it's turned over to Adamek. Arguin takes it over on the forecheck. She's pressed up against the boards in that far corner.
UMass players taken down there.
No call coming as Glenn lifts the stick of Julia Williams. But Arguin will get it to her defense. Roach looking for Arguin, and Arguin wasn't looking for that. No icing.
Refs letting them play today.
I guess so.
It's only been the really bad penalties they've called. Battle, for example, getting thrown into the boards behind her own net.
Olsen will win the race against Evans to the end boards. She'll find Carl. Carl cuts back. Nice defensive play by Evans. Shapiro clears. 2 minutes to go in the game.
.57 shots for Liberty. 19 for UMass. They've stayed at 19 for a while.
We'll look for 20 right here, but Pearson gives it away to Beauchamp. Beauchamp cuts middle, but loses the puck to Pearson. Pearson has it on her backhand. She'll skate towards the Liberty bench, where Liberty will regain possession. Beauchamp can't stick handle past O'Neill and Maganaro. O'Neill sends it to the right corner. Board battle there with Joanna Dustin. And Liberty can't clear. Shelby Little shot towards the net, tipped, or blocked rather. And Sparrow's taken down from behind as she tried to shoot it.
No call.
No call. But here's Beauchamp. Left circle. Circle's in the left corner. And now Craig behind the goal of Matthews. Craig with 40 seconds to go in the game. Koo turns it over to Little, who sends it off the skate of Abby Dunn. 28 seconds now. Craig looking for one last Liberty goal. Pressed up against the far boards. Aaron Bennett around to the near side. 13 seconds to go. It's sent into the Liberty zone with 7. Peyton Ellis looks up ice for the final time, and the seconds will tick down, and that will be the end. of this contest. Liberty wins 11-0, and you better believe they're going to keep their #1 ranking heading into this week. They have won 9 straight games. Their record is now 9-1. UMass still searching for their first win of the season since the Assumption series, but a tough showing all around in this one, Darius.
Yeah, it was really just a tough series for UMass to try to play through. They play last night at 7 o'clock, today at 11:20 in the morning. It's hard. It's hard, and they're playing against the best team. This team plays very sound offense, very sound defense. Give their goalie a good chance to make the saves when shots come their way. 19 shots by UMass. Couldn't quite get to 20. Whereas Liberty was pushing 60 with 57 shots on goal.
47 shots yesterday, 57 shots today, and well over 100 shots in 2 games, and 18 goals in 2 games is pretty darn good by the #1 team in the country.
That's for sure.
And I've been John Ruggiero. He's been Darius Kwak. Thank you for joining us on our WMUA Sports YouTube page. And we will see you next time on 91.1 WMUA, the home fort for all your favorite UMass, Minutemen,